All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We're back. We're back. We're back. Episode 5. So, we've got the dev from Ironco.re, which is a super sick and awesome OT project of classless Tibia, which is frankly Marxist, but we're going to give them a pass. We don't have a problem with anything being classless or a structureless society. That's fine. You know, it's his utopia. Let's give it him a shot. Boom. There we go. What's up?
Hello.
All right, so now I just need to pull up my notes properly. Okay. So, you are... Well, no, you should tell me your name and the server you run.
My name is Chris. I go by Sid. Very short name. I am the developer of Ironco.re.
Ironco.re. Yes, that's ironco.re, I believe.
Yep, that's the website.
So that's ironco.re. So Ironco.re, you see.
Easy.
And then I did a little bit of research. I believe you guys are like, and I mean, this is just from the quick glance. It looks like you guys are about 5 or 10 times the size of Slaynville.
No, that's not true.
Well, in terms of the number of players, I think you are, or maybe
we have
even
39
more.
right now. You have much more players than we do.
Yeah, but you have more total players, and I have kind of like the same guys that just really are dedicated. If that makes sense.
We have pretty much the same amount of players, I'd say.
Well, yeah. You've definitely been. I think you still count more because, like, I think it's just a little. Well, I don't know. That's actually my next question. Is when did this project go live?
We started in August of 2023. I think the 1st of August, we launched a beta server. We did not have a lot of players during the beta, but we had some really, really like strong players that played a lot. Like they played for like, I don't know, like 800 hours in total during the beta.
Mm-hmm.
And then we launched the server on the 1st of November, I think. So we had a beta for 2 months. We never closed, like we never had a server save at all. So the server was online for almost 1,700 hours without the crash.
That scares the hell out of me, but only if it was running my code. But that's awesome. So I'm gonna actually backtrack to the more intro questions. But I'm curious how old you are and like kind of what age and year you started playing Tibia.
Oh boy, I started playing Tibia in school actually, like almost, I don't know, 15 years ago. No more. 20 years ago almost, like 2005, I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
started in
almost 20.
7.1. When is that?
That is
Yeah,
2000, 7.1, I think is 2002, which is 22 years ago. I believe
Oh,
7.1, this is a good test. I'm going to Google it after I say it, but I believe it's December 2002 is the release of 7.1.
Released on December 17th, 2022.
Oh,
But
man.
20, yeah, whatever.
Wow. Okay, that's sad
You're
that I
right.
have it. I have the month. That's not good, but the fact that I'm right is bad. But
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But I wouldn't say I started playing there. Like I made my character there. I was a complete noob. I had no clue what I was doing.
right.
I mainly started playing in 7.6. Like that's where I like got good at the game, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like when I first started, I was very on and off, and I think I really started like before even Tibia 6, but I didn't get off of Rook Guard until like 3 or 4 months after the first time I played. I was still on Rook Guard, just like trying to scam someone out of a sword in the fake depot on Rook Guard as like an 11-year-old, you know?
You know, that's the best time in Tibia, you know, when you have no clue what you're doing and you're fucking having a blast.
And you're
fucking
scamming.
lost.
So one thing I'm really curious about is like what, as developers, like people's development story and like what stuff they've done before Tibia World. So like Did you have a boring banking website career or other game development, or what's the story arc?
I have zero game development. Like I'm not even. I didn't even go to school with programming or anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
work in retail, so I have a very boring job compared to what I'm doing on my free time. I started making OpenTBI in like 2007, I think. Back on OT Fans, it was called back then.
Wow.
Uh, so I've been like making OTs for a very, very long time. But I was mainly a mapper back then. I didn't do any programming at all.
Oh, that is super interesting. So you've been in this game for a long time. That is so cool. So
I have been here for a long time, yeah.
that is the mapping is like it's so addictive. Once you get into the Ramirez at map editor, you're just like, I could do anything.
Yeah, once you have like a goal to do something and you know what the hell you're doing in the map editor, like it takes a lot of time to learn how to
Hmm.
use the map editor. You can definitely like do anything pretty much.
Yeah, I really love the way you seem to have with Iron Core. One thing I really like about it, and we've talked about too, when you send me the maps that you make, where it's like, it's what the way I describe what I do is like I have Theus, and then I kind of made it into like stupid Bizarro Theus. But you have truly transformed Theus in a way where it's a
I
completely
did
different
not.
place, but I still know that's where I am. And I know it's communicated to me immediately. Like, if this is this different, then as soon as I step out the north gate, like, I'm going to be in a world of trouble.
Well, the thing about Iron Core is that we try to keep the nostalgic feel. So
Hmm.
once you log into the game, it's gonna feel like you're playing Tibia, and
Hmm.
you kind of know where things are. You kind of know if you go east, you're gonna come to Venor. If you go north, you're gonna come to Khazardon. Like the feeling of the map is super important to us. And
Hmm.
I'm also gonna say that I did not make the map. The map was made by Breadward. You can see him on Twitch. He is one of the top streamers for Tibia. Basically, he and I are making the server. I do everything else. He does the design. He basically controls whatever comes into the game. He does the mapping. He does it live on stream as well. And
Hmm.
I do pretty much everything else. Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, I definitely want to get him in the mix. You know, what's awesome about all these little talks that I'm having is like I talked to Michael from Dora and he's like, dude, you should get Aris on here too. And so every
Yeah.
single person I talk to is like, there's a second person you should talk to from this same project. And so it's like, even if I do five, I'm gonna get 10. I'm gonna, and it's gonna be, it's almost like a built-in theme. But there's so
Well,
many different people.
when people want to listen, it's kind of fun to like do this kind of stuff. I think you can even go like bigger. You can probably bring in 4 people at the same time.
Well, I think people, I don't like listening to more, three maybe. I think it's hard to listen to four people talk.
Well, we don't need to, like everyone doesn't need to talk at the same time. You can have 3 people that like sits and listens and stuff, you know.
Yeah, maybe we could get something going like that. My big goal, I have this new holy grail idea where it's like if I can get every developer to introduce me to another OT developer that is like outside of their project, eventually I want to make my way, if I can find a way to make my way to interviewing a Raven Dawn or Medivia developer.
Oh boy.
And then
Yeah,
the holy
Medivia would be
grail
cool. I'm not sure.
is CIP. If I can interview a member of CIP, that would be the ultimate.
Probably not.
Well, you never know.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, I'll fly out there. I'll say hello. Um, so what is your favorite programming language is another question I have.
Um, like I said, I didn't really come from programming.
Hmm.
I really like Lua though. I mean, everyone's gonna see that. I think Lua is really fun.
Yeah, it's very, very expressive. And, uh, you really get taught to use Lua by the way this project is so beautifully set up where it's like it teaches you the value of using a scripting language because you learn how dangerous it is to write anything in C++. So
And it makes it so that the scripting language is, I mean, it's the easier part,
mhm,
and C++ is more like where you control the engine and the systems and stuff.
mhm,
But Lua is where you can do the fun stuff of making an OT,
mhm,
the
absolutely, yeah.
small details.
That's what I like. What really got me into this is like when I look at how quickly I'm able to implement features, it makes me feel like, oh my God, I could actually maybe have time to market this product. Because it, like, when I go to make something, it actually works like fairly quickly. I don't have to spend a week on implementing the tiniest little features like I do in other projects I've worked on. So,
Well, I mean, OT has been in development for like 25 years.
yeah,
So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that builds on like very, very old code. And there's a lot of things that has been redesigned many, many, many times.
yeah,
And I
it
think the
shows.
the product we have right now with the Forgotten Server and Canary, I think it's just such a like huge, good system that you can build more upon.
Yeah, it's really
Easy to build
like
as well.
the more I get into it, the more I realize that it like rivals Roblox in its ability to be just like such a fluid, if you really wanted to and you could get the art done, you can make really anything. It's a gaming platform, this entire system, more than it is like any one thing.
Definitely. And you have so much control where you can literally create your own game, basically.
Yeah, it's, one of the things I just was talking to a guy 5 minutes ago that I want to interview. There's somebody who's recreating the Middle Earth map and making
Oh
like a
yeah, I've
Lord of
seen
the
that.
Ring.
I've
Yeah,
commented on his thread as well on OTLAN.
yeah, we got to get that guy some. Like, if he needs any help, we got to make sure he has it because I want to play that shit. you
I don't
know?
want to bring him down though, but I think he's like, when you have such a large project,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of need to have like a very grounded base when you start up a server.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really, I'm gonna make Middle Earth. Like it's such a huge, like,
Right.
what do you say? Like it's gonna take you years to make. You kind of want to get your stuff out there. Like
Yeah.
that's when you can start building on
It
it,
would
and
have been
that's when the
maybe
fun part starts.
maybe if he had just made the Shire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally what I said in this thread as well. Just make the Shire and the areas around it, and you have a fucking good base. Have fun gameplay. That's when you can like that. That's the hard part done, and then you come to the fun stuff where you can make more content and stuff.
Yeah, that is a lot of land. I mean, I guess it kind of also depends on how you scale it. Like, if each little town is just like a house, maybe
Have
the
you
map
checked out
isn't.
his thread where you can see like what he's doing?
I only just got introduced to the project like 20 minutes ago. So
Okay, then you have a lot to learn.
yeah, it looks like there's a lot in motion already. So the thing that I noticed immediately about Ironcore is the decision to have no classes. Am I right
Yeah,
about that? So what is
exactly.
the motivation behind that? Can I hear a backstory on the thoughts there?
Well, the thing is, Breadward is the mastermind, right?
Mm-hmm.
I basically came to him and told him, "Do you want to create an OT?" And he said, "Fuck yeah!" And
Mm-hmm.
we basically did.
Mm-hmm.
We Because I've already been working on this for, I don't know, 10 years, like in on my free time, because I don't know, I'm retarded. And
Same brother.
I had everything like ready, and I literally just cleaned the slate of everything. I removed all the things that I've done, and we had a good base. And from the beginning, we wanted to have no classes because we want the player to be able to become anything. Like the
Okay.
player should be able to be a melee fighter, because that's the main goal of TBA. You kind of go up and fucking punch stuff in the face. That's the main gameplay of Tibia. And then you have like then you can add systems where you can use like a bow, and you can trigger stuff, and like a lot of things just builds on the player being like a normal guy and not like having like a class that they need to follow. Because then there's balance and stuff that you need to worry about. Of course, there's always going to be balance that you need to worry about, but you know, if everyone is the same, you don't really need to balance in the same way.
Right. So I thought that was such an interesting choice, and it was strange because I was just having a conversation about like I have a friend who's like deeply into like pen and paper games and designing RPGs and stuff, and his input was like modern games, because I explained to him like Tibia 6, the way it works is like the sorcerer is the best class and the druid is the worst class, and like the classes are ranked, like, and it is not an accident even. They are tiered. Yeah. They're not balanced. And he was like, that is unacceptable.
If you go back to the old school classes, they are completely right. Like, let's take a 7.4 server, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Try a 7.4 server where you're level 250 sorcerer, and then you shoot an SD and you're magic level like 90. Try that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you're gonna do a lot of damage.
1,500 damage or something like that.
Yeah, and that's gonna be, there's also just they introduce other issues where then like druid has an ice UE that does more damage than the sorcerer, so then sorcerer becomes the tier 2.
That's not. I would call that old school, but yeah.
Right, yeah, but then sorcerer becomes a tier 2 class. It's like League of Legends, where it's like Nunu is no longer meta.
Yeah.
You're a druid, sorry.
Knights are the blockers, paladins are the solo hunters, sorcerers are the damagers, and druids are the damagers with healing.
And so basically my friend, who is very up to date on all the RPG trends, he's super into, just following gaming very precisely. He's like, this is dog shit. You cannot have that in a game if you want people to play it. Like, the modern world works. And honestly, I would bet that he would say exactly what you just said. Like, screw classes entirely. Your choices as a player are your class.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Minecraft in some ways, like where you literally just let out into the world and you can do whatever you want. That's the main goal, basically.
That is definitely, I think, super ideal. I think it's a very good modernization of the game, like without adding 40 trillion explosions, which is kind of like the way that a lot of OTs modernize, is that they really just increase
workable OTs, yeah.
Yeah. But what I would like to see is more like the type of innovation that I'm really interested in is like really like players being able to fundamentally edit the map for like periods of time, like something like a turret mechanic where you could like set up a turret, or you could somehow, I don't know, like I like the idea of being able to like build structures, almost like a Fortnite mechanic or something.
Sort of like a sandbox game.
Yeah, that's what I loved about the game, was the way they introduced sandbox ideology into this world, like through what they did then.
Maybe to begin with is like a sandbox game
for sure.
In like the broader sense, like back in the day, like the version that you're kind of want to making, that's like when people built like fucking parcel castles and stuff. That's the sandbox part of the game,
Absolutely. Like the parcel, like like there are limited uses, mostly for making traps around parcels and stuff in my version. But what I would love, I don't really know how I would do it, but I love the feeling of editing the map and defending my edits. And I feel like there's a place for that in this world. I haven't figured it out yet, or even really put that much thought into it, because usually I'm just like dealing with a massive problem of some kind. But
sounds like an OT, right?
Yeah. Like the ghost bug that we were talking about the other day. I literally went and I've been writing code to just make it so I can ghost and appear next to people instead of on top of them.
Oh yeah, that one. We were like a few weeks ago. We talked about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever, because you were tagging me asking if I had a solution, and now I'm tagging you.
And your solution was basically to remove all the invisible monsters.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't have a lot of invisibility to begin with, but I do have uniquely strong invisibility where I do have it, because we have the full invisibility. So it's not just. Honestly, I have to dig. Like, I'm 99% sure that nothing follows the same code path as being ghosted, except being ghosted, if that makes sense.
I mean, the ghost. I mean, not a spell, but the ghost. What do you call it? The GM version of Invis. I think that's completely different from the monster version.
Yeah, the monster
I'm not
version
even sure if
is like an outfit.
Invis works on the normal TFS. I haven't even tried it.
I honestly don't know. I got my first pull request going into TFS main right now. I'm pretty hype about it.
Oh, which one was that? I remember you were talking about it.
It's like the most trivial bug, but
the guild stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If you tried to add somebody to your house like by their guild, it would work actually. But if you added them by rank, it wouldn't have worked at all. And now it's
that's usually what happens. People make stuff and then they haven't tested it fully.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really run a server themselves, so nobody reports any bugs.
Yeah, and you have to actually have players to care about guild ranks. It's like a real production style problem.
I mean, I was talking about that like in the Discord today. Like I had one of my players test the other client, the auto client redemption, I think it's called. Yeah.
Oh.
And there's just so many like minor bugs that makes the client unusable.
Yeah, I bet.
And
to me, it's remarkable that this stuff works at all. When I first got OTV working, or OTC rather, I was like blown away that it worked. How quickly it worked, you know?
I mean, compared to like setting up like a World of Warcraft private server, like OT is super easy.
Damn, that's crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that. I've never done a WoW one. That's
I mean, the entire system is the same. You download a server that has like a database and C++ code, and then you start it, and then you need to download World of Warcraft, a specific version, and you need to change your IP, and then you need to log into the game. It's the same, but OT is definitely 10 times easier because we're using a custom client.
Yeah, that's what I love about this, is having the full end-to-end control. It makes me feel like I can actually do whatever I want.
Yeah, for OpenTBA, you're in control of pretty much everything. You're in control of the map, the control of the code, the control of the scripts, the control of the client. So you have nothing to lose but yourself if you don't innovate.
The only problem is that whenever I go to try to like explain to someone, like I have a couple friends who always, people are always like trying to help. And it's like, okay, well, here's the 9 pieces of software you need to understand if you want to help at all. Because if you understand the object editor, you can edit something, but you're not going to be able to see what that looks like if you don't have the map editor. And if you don't know how to hook up the map editor to actually work, like, that's a day of your life to teach someone how to use Ramirez properly, even if they are like super competent with that kind of stuff, It's very difficult.
It's sort of the same thing. I was talking to some guys on Discord today, on my Discord. They're like, oh, we need to fix this bug that has been in the game since the beginning, right? It's very rare. It has to do with like turning your character and let's say you're using energy beam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to turn to use it on a monster.
Yeah.
And it basically, you shoot in a different way where your character is facing, right?
Oh, okay.
I have no clue how it happens, when it happens, but for some reason, sometimes you get like you shoot in a different direction.
Does it always go down when it's wrong?
No, it's completely random, it feels.
Damn.
And I'm trying to tell them, like, the walking code is like 2,000 lines of code. There's no way I can just read through that and find the bug. Like, you need to...
Right.
It's much, much harder than that.
Right. Well, yeah, that is a goofy one. And who's to say it's not just that their connection sucks or that they're wrong?
Because it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare. Like I'm telling you, it can happen like two times per day if you're playing 12 hours. So
listen, buddy, when in doubt, just blame the users. Tell them it's their fault. It's a moral failing on their part.
Yeah, it's their fault for playing the game.
I mean, it is. Okay, so all right, I have two good questions here. What feature are you most proud of, and who on your team deserves a shout out?
My team, there's only 2 people, so I
Oh,
guess me. Red gets shout outed every day on his stream, so I guess I'm shouting at myself.
word up! Yeah.
Uh,
Props to the real devs that nobody knows.
but also, the best system on my server is something that I've made myself, and it's we have a system called on hit. Basically, every time you sing your swinger sword, there's a chance for a spell to trigger.
Okay.
And this system is really, really like modular. You can do anything. You can make it cast ultimate healings on your shop. We don't have that yet, though. We have energy beam. We have fire wave. We have prismatic strike is something that we have custom made. We have energy strike. We have flame strike, and we have one more.
Is that
I don't remember
related
now.
to the I saw an object that was like a magic light wand tip, and it was
Yeah,
like an on
exactly.
hit item.
You equip a prismatic trinket, which can have different things on them, like 15% chance to cast energy berserk on melee swing. That's basically what it is,
Oh, that's
and it's super
awesome.
easy to understand.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the okay, yeah. That is super cool. So damn, that is killer for PvP.
I mean, it won't be as fun for PvP, I think, but it's really, really fun to play around with when you're hunting and you like once every 10 swings you cast an energy berserk. It's really, really cool.
What is your opinion on PvE servers?
I think PvP has PvE. Let's talk about PvP first, so we can talk about PvE after. PvE PvP servers. I think they have like a place in Tibia, but they usually like die within 2 months because usually the other winning team of the battle that's gonna occur after like I don't know a few weeks of the server usually wins, and then the other team stops and everyone stops playing, right?
Okay.
We're talking old school servers here, okay?
Yeah.
I don't care about the other shitty servers. And PvE servers are like, I mean, my server is PvE sort of. We have very, very basic PvP. In my opinion, there should always be a way to kill someone else.
Right.
Like even in like let's say World of Warcraft, for example, you should always be able to kill someone else. There should always be like that feeling that you're never safe anywhere, right?
Right.
And once you see some people, they start like going towards you, and you know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's a very, very special feeling. You know, if you've ever like, of course you've played old school Tibia, but like dying in Tibia, I mean, you lose like an hours, like a week of work sometimes. And you can lose like all of your items. Let's say you have boots of haste and plated, and you lose boots of haste, and you lost everything. You know.
Yeah.
It's just it makes you play the game in a different way. Like sometimes your reputation is worth a shit ton. Like playing the game just to have your reputation like really high, so nobody wants to kill you or nobody dares to kill you. It just makes the game completely different. And I would never play a server without having PvP in it.
So it sounds like kind of what you're saying is that you're separating your personal feelings from what you think players want and also what they say. Like that at the end of the day, if you have too much PvP, it's gonna all go to shit. But that you personally like it and you try to include it as much as you can, but you feel like the forces are pushing you to take it away.
I mean,
in a way.
Yes and no. I mean, if you have PvP, if you have a server that is straight mainly for PvP, then the server is instantly going to die after 1 to 2 months because that's just the way the game is designed. Like I said, I'm talking about old school servers here. But if you have like a server that's very, very slow, it's going to be completely different. Like, of course, people are going to make like level 20 characters, someone level 26 characters, and someone fireman ult and kill everyone, you know? But those people usually just die and then they quit the game, right?
It's so true.
But if you have like a server that's very, very grounded, people like talk to each other, you have like a social community, you have a world chat that's always open, people like know each other, it's going to be completely different. Of course, there's going to there's always going to be some people that are like fucking idiots, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But once you let people loose and they can do whatever they want, you're going to get a very, very like it's just going to be like a bad feeling playing the game, you know. If you can't go outside without dying, people are just going to come for you, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's really about building a socially cohesive group that self monitors and sets up the right social incentives, which really has very little to do with you as a developer, except in some really esoteric ways. You know, like it's hard to know why you're encouraging deceit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you just need to make the game feel more like social.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to have a world chat where people are chatting. You need to encourage people to trade with each other. Because if you're only thing they're doing is like invite each other to a party and then hunt for a few hours and then leave, they're never really gonna like make real friends, you know. You see the same guy in all the time on my server, you know.
Yeah. I love the way that they band together, and it's wonderful to watch it all. The way I don't know. I just never anticipated that they would build such strong communities, and that those communities would internally grow on their own. And like, you know, it's like I'm not inviting people to play the game; they're inviting people to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, once you make something that is really fun to play, like the core gameplay is as fun as it possibly could, then you automatically get players. You don't really need to do anything else than that.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, I keep thinking of like ways to grow that are external to the game, and the only ones that work are the ones that are in the, you know, like it's the game that makes itself grow, and not the website or the OT list server ad or whatever, you know.
Well, of course, there's always going to be like things that you can do outside of the gameplay that's going to increase retention and keep people like inside the game. Like let's say we have on my server we have something called player development. It's like a Discord category where people can like give ideas. We have a super huge fucking sprite channel where people can donate sprites. They can talk about sprites because people on my server we really care about how the game feels. You know,
Right.
when you log into the game, you should feel a certain way, and we shouldn't stray away from that. Like you can't just suddenly add mounts. You know, it's gonna completely destroy the game. You know.
What I noticed about your server immediately when I logged in was like how much better you have done at retroizing specifically the ground tiles, but really every environment tile. The water, like I have realistically in my game, I think my water and everything, and ground and dirt and grass and trees, it's all from Tibia 8.6, I think. You know, it's not even close.
You're using 7.6, I think. The new grass and water and stuff, right?
Is that 7.6 where the new grass and water get beautiful? I feel like it's even later that they really get so nice with the sand.
No, that's 7.6. That's 7.6, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not 6. I noticed it immediately when I logged in. I was like, I threw my fishing rod in the water actually because.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, you know why? Yeah, because it's the border tile is water as well, whereas for me it's not.
But yeah, we spent a lot of time like building up that nostalgic feel that you felt when you first logged into the Tibia the first time. Of course, it's based on me and Breadward's feelings. Of course, we didn't start in 6.0, so the 6.0 graphics are not really our graphics. The 7.1, 7.4 between that's our graphics, you know.
That's exactly how it feels. I'm starting to think more and more that the next thing I do is going to be more like putting in like some stuff from the Pianzo open source art pack and just like moving away from like I want my art to signal that we're off doing whatever the hell we want and not like we're chasing some specific Tibia version. And I think if I throw in some open source art, just like a little bit in the environment, it will signal to people like, I'm not going, don't come in the Discord and yell at me for having the wrong water tile because I'm aware. You know what I mean?
You should always try to like stick to a concept that you really like. Like once you start adding, like if you start mix maxing the what mix maxing it's called whatever. When you start matching a bunch of other like graphics and stuff, I think you lose a lot of that nostalgic feel when you log into the game. If you have one type of grass and then you have like mounts and then you have like new animations, it just feels off. And you should be very careful when you do that.
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
One concept.
Yeah, like I haven't even tried this. I just opened literally like 3 hours ago in the object builder. I opened the open source sprite pack in the object builder. I haven't even seen what it would look like if I like export that, you know, like or try to. I don't know. There's just a couple. There's really. I try to only do things if I think there's a problem. And the problem I have is that I don't really love all of the art. And I feel like that's the important problem to solve is like if I think something sucks artistically, then I should change the art. Not to chase some dream or something. It's like it should be to look good. And that's kind of like the direction that I want to take things is like I want to start thinking of like upgrading things instead of making them right. That's what I guess I really don't like when the players say this is wrong. Because if they think something can be right or wrong based on a Tibia version, then I haven't communicated to them that we get silly with it around here. And that's what I want to communicate.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of correct on that, but you should always have like a vision, you know.
For sure.
You should, if you're focusing on the old school part of the game, you know, you're focused on 6.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really old school. Like that's far back. You should try to stick to that. You shouldn't like in your case. You should never add mounts, for example. It
Right.
completely destroy the feel of the game.
So here's the thing: is that I very much separate in my mind the mechanics from the visuals. The mechanics, it's like I'm 100% in the boat for this like very specific vision I have of what the mechanics were and why I do everything I do in the source code changes the way I do. The art to me is a combination of two things. One is like expressing my unique artistic taste, and then the other is like communicating with the art what I've done mechanically.
Yeah.
It's confusing. I guess it's like, you know, pretty overthought.
It's kind of funny because we're completely opposite in that direction. Because me and Bradward, we want to have one specific focus on the art. We want everything to look sort of the same. We don't want anything to stick out. But we don't want like some new item to look like super different from the others. While we want to keep our systems more like, we don't want to make a 7.4 server. We want to make a custom server that we ourselves can improve and always make better. We don't want to build our systems upon old like merits where you shoot an SD and you deal 2,000 damage. You know, it's not balanced. It can never be balanced if you have a system that's like increases your damage based on health on the level. I mean,
Right. I
simple
see.
remakes, downgrades, upgrades, or recolors of existing sprites. And capturing the nostalgic feel is always the best way to go when it comes to the art, in our opinion.
Interesting. I'm still loving the fact that lots of people throw their fishing rod into the water. That's really sustaining my self-esteem right now.
Yeah, we had a lot of people. Like at launch, we had like 130 people online or something like that. And like there was a lot of people who accidentally threw their fishing rods in the water or did not like know that you could pick up a fishing rod. Because when you start out on Ironcore, you start with nothing. You have no gear, you have no items, you can grab a bag with a fishing rod and some
Uh-huh.
bread in the temple. That's it.
Uh-huh.
And you start fucking punching rats.
Yeah, I
No
noticed
club
that.
and no jacket.
I thought that was a strong design choice, and so is just the basic idea of removing rook guard. You go straight to Theus. A lot of people had suggested that to me, and I was like, nah. And I think you probably made the right choice in doing that. Nobody wants to play on rook guard.
I mean, Rookard has its if you're making a super slow server like we are,
Mm-hmm.
Rookard has it's a very nostalgic area, you know. And
Yeah,
as long as
I like it.
as long as you don't kill 3 rats and you're level 8, then it can, as long as you capture the nostalgic feel of Rookard, you can really get away with it. Like, and there's always going to be the rook stairs, you know. They don't
Yeah,
play your servers if there's no Rookard.
the rook stairs is the reason that I want to have a meaningful rook guard, is because I consider it to be like the PvE version, and honestly, I was considering that instead of making a PvE server, I would just like forever keep expanding rook guard. Like, not to be completely crazy, but there's no reason there can't be like some additional new stuff where it's like maybe you don't get as strong, but you could get some spells and you could do a little bit of damage. Maybe a team of rookers could kill a cyclops, or I don't know, you know.
If you knew how many times that the direction has been explored in OT,
I'm sure, yeah.
holy, there's at least 20 servers that has tried the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's that's why my only change right now is just that I closed off premium rook, because I feel like that's from Tibia 7. We don't mess with that stuff. And I added my little my strong design choice is that I added this thing called the pig pen, which is like a PvP area on rook. Where so they can just beat the shit out of each other, but like nobody can do more than one damage. So it's actually really funny.
Yeah, we have sort of the same. We don't have any PvP yet. We're still like thinking about how we want to implement PvP. We have an area on our server under the main city where you can like attack each other how much you want. Like you don't gain any like bans or stuff. You can get a red skull if you kill too many people, but that's it.
Oh, that's interesting. That is the underground sewer fight. I like that.
Writing that down, right?
So there's another person who contacted me that I wanted to ask you about. His name is Dipset, and he
Yeah.
said that he was embroiled in what I'm going to refer to as an Elysium Online controversy, question mark, I wrote in my notes. And then there's a server called Sanctuary Online, and he was the previous owner of OT Academy Discord, he said.
I have not. I've talked to him some. He helped me with one of my spells. I think that's him. Yeah, but I haven't heard of him other than that.
He, it seems like a controversial figure. He said something about how he was running one of these OTs and then it got stolen from him, and then it went after that. It went on to be a very popular server. So I'm excited for some drama. When I talk to him, it sounds like a really interesting story.
Yeah, I have not spoken to him like apart from him helping me with one of my spells that I made.
You know,
So
what's amazing about this community is that if you go in that Discord, the OT Academy Discord, at a first glance, it's like it seems like everybody's fairly rude to each other, but everybody is
yeah, it's all
extremely
fun
helpful.
games, you know.
Like when you first get in there, it's a little intimidating, but then everybody always is so helpful.
Yeah, I wouldn't say everyone is always helpful in every way, but it's definitely fun to have like conversations with people who are much smarter than you are. When I'm saying you are, it means me, of course, not.
No, I feel the same way, especially with people like Nikiro and stuff. They just have such a wide breadth of knowledge of so many different projects. Like, um, they really seem to know what they're talking about all the time.
I mean, once you get into the developing of OT servers, and you've been like, if you've had a few servers yourself before, you gain a lot of knowledge by just running a server. Like, especially if you have a lot of players.
Yeah.
Like, 50 players, that's easy to handle. You can pretty much talk to everyone at the same time. But once you get up to the 500s, once you get up to the 2000s, then it's really hard. Like, you have at least 10 people talking to you like every hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like it becomes a problem, and you need to like expand your horizons on what you want to do.
What I found to be such a huge problem is that, like, when I first started, there were so many small and big and obvious bugs that having everybody communicate with me nonstop was so helpful because there was like 100 bug testers, you know?
Yeah.
But then when all the bugs stopped, I fixed all the bugs, that didn't stop the communication. It's just 100 people DMing you and you're like, fuck.
I heard you guys talk about that in the last podcast. When you have the ping in the top left, people can see it. People complain that when it's really high, but if you remove it, people stop complaining.
Dude, that is so validating. We gotta have this. This is gonna be a topic in every episode. Is gonna be like, just to be sure, your players too with the paying thing, right?
Yeah, I know there's like a video of some Counter-Strike developer talking about that as well. So I've heard it before. Like, people only complain when they can see it, but if you remove it completely, people stop complaining. That's
Do you know what I liked about your client that is such a small but beautiful touch is I feel like you very purposefully defaulted to anti-aliasing being off.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why would you destroy the cool fucking 32 sprites? There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm always testing everything, I don't know why, but I've just been playing with it on for a little bit. And now it made me realize, like, oh my god, I default that to off, right? And I don't even know. I hope so, because
Anti-aliasing is never supposed to be in a sprite-based game. Like, you want to have the basic feel of the sprites, like giving you that they really look like how they were made to be. Anti-aliasing just destroys that completely.
I like the idea of trying to make an argument where it's like, no man, I need the Tibian accuracy. The VSync is I need 320 frames, anti-aliasing, no tearing. I have 10,000 hours aim labs.
But yeah, there was talk about the FPS things on Discord as well, where they were comparing how much FPS they were getting with the other client, and
right.
In Tibia it doesn't matter. You can play with 30 FPS, it will feel okay. Of course you kind of want the 150, 200 FPS. That's fine, but like once you get past like 300, once you get past like 500, there's no point having that much FPS.
If it were up to me, this would be something I would do to troll. Is like, because I actually play with my max set at 60. I just leave it at 60 because I would rather just
I have it at whatever my monitor is, so 240.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's nice. But I would love to just set the max cap be 60 just to troll everybody who cares. But I would.
No, you can set it at default at 60, but people should always be able to change it themselves.
Yeah. If they want to run their graphics card into the dirt, let them.
I mean, you're not really running your graphics card. You're kind of making it feel more smooth, but like anything past your monitor refresh rate, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, really, it really does not matter. I
feel like we can keep talking forever.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't even get to I have this whole other section where I want to talk just about like the premium angles and what How do you do premium, and how should I do premium? How do people
That's
do
a fun
premium?
topic.
You know, because I've been trying to do outfits, and it seems like people don't really want to buy outfits. Like a tiny bit, but not that much.
I think once you like when you start off, you want to start off on like you want the entire game to be available. But
Right.
you also kind of want to, at the beginning, you want to limit the player to whatever your future plans are. So, for example, on Ironcore, what we did was in the beta, everything was free. There was nothing you couldn't pay for anything. But obviously, like our time costs money, and we need to, I mean, make some kind of money doing this, right? I'm spending like 8 hours after work doing this, and I mean, you know, I mean, I can't just do it for free, you know.
Amen, brother.
So we implemented a system where your inventory is limited to 10 slots.
Dirty dog.
I mean, of course you can hold stuff, but your stuff on yourself is limited to your cap. So then you can put stuff in your depot, of course, but your depot is limited to 10, and you cannot put any like containers or anything inside your depot. So everyone is like very, very limited for space. Obviously, they can make new characters and store things on their characters. But that, I mean, it's annoying. It's like you kind of need to relog on other characters, you know. But take like World of Warcraft, for example. It's the same thing there. You can make other characters. You can mail stuff to yourself, but you still have limited amount of space. At least you had limited amount of space. Now it's pretty much unlimited. But what we did was we set a cap on how we want players to play. And then we released a solution in terms of player housing. We did not have player housing in the beginning. You couldn't even, like, the Thais town was really, really small. There was no houses or anything. But we, after a while, we implemented houses, and you could buy premium and own a house. And you can only own a house if you have premium. That's the only thing you can do with premium.
Right. Wait, so owning a house is the way to unlock extra slots of depot effectively. And it's really like the only premium function. So you have like a very hardcore survival mechanic in terms of inventory space usage.
Definitely.
And then like being premium is like you unlock it being an MMO instead of a survival game. That is beautiful.
We don't have any, you know, other servers. There's like an NPC in town. You can go to him and you can sell your loot bags. But we don't feel like loot bags is a fun mechanic.
I agree.
Pulling a bag up and back and forth, it's not fun at all. Like you spend more time doing the inventory management than actually playing the game, you know? So we completely removed that NPC. We don't have any guy in town who buys your shitty gear for 20 gold.
And you just you just replace for example, like you replace the mace with 30 gold in a rotworm loot.
No.
Okay.
No. We basically made gold very, very scarce, so you almost never drop gold from anything. So gold, like 200 gold, that's a shit ton on our server. Like you're fucking rich if you have 200 gold, you know? There's people obviously who has played for soon 12 months who has like 10,000. Of course, they're fucking the gods of Ironcore, you know?
Oh, because Ironcore, the main lowest form of currency is iron, right?
No. We still have gold coins, platinum coins, and crystal coins, same as always.
Oh damn! I saw iron coins though.
Yeah, iron coins is like the premium currency. You can buy, you use it, you gain premium.
Oh damn! I was close though.
But yeah, the storage space is limited by your house. So if you own a house, you can store however much you want. You can be a hoarder however much you want. And players usually use their houses to show off what they have gained in the game, you know?
Yeah, I saw the houses in Theus were decked out. They were beautiful too. Like they really did a good job of showing off the good and awesome unique sprites that you have. You know?
Yeah.
I saw some players with spike swords.
we don't have any like really OP monsters yet, so people are still limited to like noble armor currently the best items in the game are Strange Helmet, Noble Armor, Night Legs. We have a new pair of Boots of Haste that you can get from a secret NPC, and you have like Bright Sword and Dwarven Shield. That's the best item. Stone Skin Amulet, which is just custom like 4 armor amulet right now. That's the best items you can get right now. So like the decoration of the houses is really, really cool because you're not getting the coconut, blood herb, magic plate armor, talon stuff. You're getting very unique stuff that people come up with very low level items, and it's really cool to see.
That is awesome. And I love the way you are really pacing it out. I mean, I know that in your game, different items mean different things, but it seems like still, even in your altered universe, there's a much lower level of item inflation happening.
Yeah, pacing is everything when it comes to like very slow servers. Like if you release your server on 1x and then you have demons, warlocks, behemoths, everything like that, the server like will very, very quickly die out in terms of like content, because there's no way you can keep up with the players if you release all the content in the beginning. Like you have nothing to trickle down to the player at all.
You just need a 15% death tax. When they die, they lose 15%. They won't be high level for long,
The basic is like 10, right?
Yeah.
On Ironco, it's 1.
No. You gotta pump those numbers up, bro.
No, we have one. You lose 1% of everything when you die. We have no blessings, and you lose no items.
Oh shit! Did you hear that? It played a song, but never mind. It's fine. That
no,
is
I did not hear it.
Oh, okay, good. The 1% death tax is. I mean, that's what normal Tibia is now, right? Ours is 11 and 9, so it's 11 if you're unpromoted and 9 if you're not.
Yeah, we. I mean, if you lose 10% of your stuff on our server, that's gonna be, I don't know, 100 hours of grinding. It's not gonna be fun for the player at all.
Yeah, I mean, we have 1x. We had a guy die recently that has 99 or 98 sword, and it's 1x 98 sword. He died. He lost I don't even know. That's 70 hours of training. I think he lost 2, and it's like they're a bunch each. They're a lot each.
Our players have the top skill right now is sword fighting. Slukt, he's level 50 on sword. That's our top right now, and that's like probably over 2,000 hours of training.
Damn. So when are you gonna add audio?
Never.
I'm just joking.
Audio is garbage.
It's funny to try to explain that to people who just don't understand,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you have
never coming to Ironco.
Do you have? I saw that you have the Tibia 6, the Tibia 6 sprite for the character, and I was curious if you have the bearded guy as well.
The Tibia 6, which one?
It's like the old school character for the sprites for the outfits.
We have the hero for the yeah as the icon, right? That's what you're talking about.
Well, you have the old school hero as the icon, but I'm pretty sure I saw in some of your screenshots I saw like Tibia's, like those sprites but for players, but not the I don't know how to describe it. I'll have to send you a screenshot of it. But you don't have the Tibia 6 bearded outfit for the player, I'm guessing then.
No, we don't have. We have the basic 7.0 outfit. We only have the hero outfit because it's a very cool sprite, and we were just playing around with like what should be our like icon. Mm-hmm. Like what defines Ironco, and we found that to be one of the cool things,
Absolutely, yeah. I use that same. There's a very similar sprite, but it's blue and it's the old school GM from that.
Yeah, sprite. That's one is cool as well.
Yeah, I use that just for me, for the GM character.
Yeah, I have a custom sprite for myself, the bearded red, the one you've seen in screenshots on Discord.
Oh hell yeah, you gotta have a beard. What else is left? So premium accounts are really the method. It's like, because the Dura guy said that Michael, he said that a lot of their revenue comes from not from the premium accounts, but
Furniture,
from
right?
yeah, furniture and cosmetics. And I thought that was
We've talked
interesting.
we've talked about that before, me and Bradward, but we feel like we can't. It would kind of undermine the custom, uh, like making your own house. Like imagine if you could just buy all the furniture from the store. It would kind of undermine all the other players who would like put their soul into furnishing their own house. You know,
Right.
we don't want to undermine the players' feeling. Like they shouldn't be able to buy things like that in the shop. I'm not saying that we're never gonna add it, but not right now. As we're feeling, not right now. But we have outfits also. But yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah. Do you have add-ons for your outfits or just like the outfit?
we have no add-ons. We have removed the add-ons from the end. Like you can't. There's nothing that says add-on on the entire UI.
Yeah,
But
that's the part I didn't
all
do.
outfits are instead outfits, like new outfits.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I have to fix that because I have a similar mentality to kind of what you just said, where it's like the outfits I have, the best ones that I have, are only unlockable by grinding in the game, not by real life money. And I feel like that wins a lot of
You kind
goodwill
of
with the
want
players.
both.
Right. Well, at least it's like
The,
as good, you know.
I mean, they could still be good, but in my opinion, they should be like always be different. You should never be able to buy something that you can acquire in the game for a lot of work. You know, it should always be like a different thing. Like you
Exactly.
buy one outfit, and then you can acquire another outfit, and they should always be different because you need to show that some players has worked for something, and other players has bought it for something because they want to look cool. You know.
Right. If you see it, you shouldn't be confused as to how they got it. I see what you
As a
mean.
new player, you're pretty much never gonna capture, the feeling of like if you see someone with a cool hero outfit or something, the new player will always feel like it's really really cool. Obviously it takes no effort to buying it from the store.
Um, Yeah, totally. So I'm trying to think of the any more things left to do because I think we're good. My last thing would just
Hmm.
be trying to get you to think of somebody you can set me up with to be a next, try to parlay each interview into another interview is all I
You
do.
should definitely speak to Bradward.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an easy win. I probably already DM'd him and tried to get him to play Slaynville, and he was probably like, "Dude, I have a project already. Fuck off."
Yeah, I mean he is a very cool guy. If you've seen his streams, he can talk for 8 hours straight. There's no problem.
Good, good. Maybe I will steamroll him less because I tend to talk over people. But you are Chris Sizz, developer of Ironcore Online at ironco.re, Ironcore. And what's the next big feature coming out for Ironcore?
We're introducing the distance skill. So you can
Oh,
equip distance weapons, and whenever you kill something, you attack with your distance weapon.
oh, that's
That's the
huge.
next feature.
Well, GG, it's been great talking to you, and I'll send you this stuff before I publish it.
Of
And
course.
you have a fabulous evening. It's been nice talking to you.
You too.
All right, bye bye.